Hello there, YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere else on the internet where we somehow have viewers. This is Supercast for those, the probably not the only podcast about Smash Bros. Out there. I'm fairly certain about that. But this is the one where we talk about the potential of the future and what we could see in future games. I, as always, am Zantok, otherwise known as Lister. We have a blank screen here who is something that's going to terrify me, I'm sure. Unless it's not going to show up, in which case, hey, easy day for me. I don't have to deal with that nonsense. Awesome. Always,
Apple Man.
Fuck.
Hey everyone, I'm Apple Man.
I thought
How's it going? I have a head that's a red delicious apple.
Just one episode without nonsense.
Kelly's here too. Kelly's back from the Fire Emblem Smasher Dash.
Hi guys, thanks for having me on the show.
Our friend Kelly served the jellies, who previously was on one of those Smash episodes where we discussed, Edelgard, Dimitri, and Claude, and then we were all disappointed when we found out what actually came out of that. Well, I say we, but
once again, I claim no responsibility for swaying any possible cosmic karma or anything like that.
Well,
and,
until we hear the truth of what happened, I blame you, sir.
Oh.
I do still at least wish we had Kelly's Byleth moveset from the Smashtopia Wiki, because I kind of think that it's better than what Nintendo came up with, and that's kind of that.
He's just
but today,
uninspired.
But today's not a day for too much salt. Today is a day for Kellyjelly, who also, by the way, very notably made our fantastic jingle for the second season and ongoing of Super Cast Brothers.
Which you would hear unless you were evil and you skipped the first 12, 13 seconds of the episode. I think that's how long it is.
Yeah, well, so thank you, Kelly, for enhancing our series like that. It's very appreciated.
Thank you for hosting me as well.
Of
course. So Apple Man and Zantok are hosting Kelly on this episode to get into another Smasher Dash, and this time it's going to be a little bit different, eh, Lister?
It is. We've done quite a few Smasher Dashes at this point, and for the most part, they've all followed the exact same format. We do a pair of two characters, we discuss them, we pick a winner. We do a different pair of two characters, we discuss them, we pick a winner. The only time that's been different is when we did the Fire Emblem character. We were okay, or I think we also did a Pokemon one as well, where we had three characters that we discussed and we picked one winner, and then of course our Tournament of Champions. This time around, we're putting a twist on it. We have Kelly here for a very special reason. Kelly has put 4 characters onto the Smashtopia Wiki of their own design. And I was like, you know what? Hey, since we have 4, why don't we do a special Kellyjelly themed episode with all 4 of their characters? And I was like, you know what? Let's make this even better. Instead of having character 1 versus character 2 and then 3 versus 4, why don't we just make this a battle royale? A Kellyjelly special battle royale of 4 characters all going at it at once. And then once we discuss the merits of all 4 and we've picked and prodded at what they could all bring, we pick 2 of the whole lot, and that's who our winners are going to be.
Oh, yeah. How do you feel about this format, Kelly?
I think, first off, you both do me a great honor for allowing this to be sort of like a Kellyjelly-centric topic. And I think it's going to be interesting to see kind of how, it's not limited to sort of like a 1 versus 1 format. It can kind of be taking all ideas into account across a wider spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely. So I concur, and it's also an honor to us to have your name gracing the Smashtopia Wiki, as well as Super Cast Brothers, because otherwise it would just be 300 plus submissions that are onto the wiki page that are mostly done by Lister and I, and by Lister and I mean Lister.
500 plus now.
500 plus. So it's cool to have a little bit of Kellyjelly Dash.
As of the moment of recording, there's currently over 550 submissions on the wiki.
Holy moly! And I'm sure quite a bit are coming from the new episode uploads as well.
A fair few. Yeah, I've finally been getting into some of the older Smashtopia episodes. Porky, Ezio, Toon Link, the other ones that we've worked on. They are all now on the wiki. I'm still working on the assist trophy episode. There's a lot to go through there. And then, all of my stages from the stage episode are up, but the rest of them are not yet. But they might be soon. By the time this episode goes up, they might be. I won't make any promises.
Say they should be.
I mean, I'm not going to make that promise because they ain't mine.
They are mine. And I actually have the notes sitting down somewhere, so it's an easy copy-paste job. I don't really know why I haven't done it yet.
The newer
Probably
characters,
because it's me.
The newer characters we've been doing a better job with. By we, I mean me. Because I've been pre-writing everything before we even begin recording, and then I just take notes on, okay, what do I need to replace because my move didn't get picked. I'm like, okay,
I gave that one move to Midna.
Yeah, you did write one move to Midna because I asked you to. I was like, I don't want to write this one. I want to take a shortcut here. And there were a few little pieces of it. I'm just like, you explain this thing.
Yeah,
but writing a Porky was actually a little bit fun. I had some fun descriptors.
The costumes are pretty entertaining.
I might have referenced a certain Willy Wonka film.
Nice. Is it the one where he goes into exile?
No, that's Survivor Exile Island.
I do remember Gene Wilder on that. Good times.
He won.
Yep. Holy moly. Well, I guess we should probably jump into the meat of the episode and just get into the free for all, unless there's anything else that either of you guys want to mention prior.
The only thing I'll say before we get into it is just like a very quick listing of who all the characters are we're discussing. Kelly here knows all of them better than the two of us, so you'll be getting to do a lot of the fun of actually talking about who they all are. But the ones that we have up for discussion today are Phantom R from Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure, I believe it's called.
That's correct.
Travis Touchdown of No More Heroes. Metal Slug from Metal Slug. And Chell of the Portal games.
Right. In German, Metal Slug is called Metal Slug.
Das Slugger.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There you go.
Well, yeah, so I'll do my best to talk about them, but in reality, I've only actually played the Portal games and Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure. I only know a little bit about Metal Slug and No More Heroes. I hope to remedy that soon, thanks to No More Heroes being ported to the Switch recently.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I've been lied to.
I've watched a lot of the cutscenes and gameplay, so I know a little, but I'm not like I still have to play it myself. So
I've seen a little bit of gameplay of Travis Touchdown both years ago from a roommate, and then just recently a streamer that I'll occasionally watch was playing through it, and I saw the fight against the military girl in the first game.
Oh, Chloe Walsh?
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. Back when it came out on the Wii, I just
from her body.
Holly Summers. That's my bad.
Yeah, that's what it was.
There you go.
Right.
Back in the day, I just wasn't quite old enough to walk into a game store and pick up No More Heroes. So
I believe that.
Yeah,
that was an issue. Yeah. See, there you go. So that's kind of where I'm at with No More Heroes. But yeah, I want to catch up with it on the backlog now that it's on Switch. Metal Slug I like quite a bit. I've played the first few games. Not all the way through, mind you, because they're hard as nails, but they're fun to play through.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I think I've only played a little bit of one of them at like an arcade cabinet one time, long time ago. Like I don't even know, I can't even remember where, but yeah, it is really tough.
Very nice. Well, I guess character intros. Kelly, let's just start with the characters that you know a little bit better. Then, can you tell us a little bit about Phantom R?
Alrighty, sure. So for Phantom R, he's probably the most niche character out of this group. His game, Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure, came out on 3DS in I think 2011. I think it was 2011 or 2012. So Phantom R he's like a gentleman thief, and he's 16 years old. And so what he does is that he infiltrates art museums, he steals paintings, which are apparently fake paintings, and then he returns the real paintings several days later. And by day, he's just a regular dude named Raphael living in Paris, France. and his father's disappeared, and he's trying to figure out why. And apparently, Napoleon Bonaparte's about to be resurrected, and a lot of crazy stuff happens. But he's a pretty stylish and rhythmically inclined guy. Yeah, he's very cool. I like him a lot.
That is a great backstory.
All right.
I Professor,
I was with
Professor
you
Layton,
until
Professor Layton was
Bonaparte.
like music.
There you go. Gotcha. And I do. I like how Lister was pointing to his shirt at the time because it's the Phantom Thieves as well from Persona 5.
Wow.
So that's a Phantom J, I suppose, up top. That fine shirt from Fangamer, not a sponsor, but we want you to be.
I mean, I'll take anything as a sponsor because that means money. You want me to shill Apex Gaming? Sure, whatever. I don't give a shit.
What about like a foot massage device or something?
Will they send me one?
Yes, that's part of the deal.
Sure.
Okay.
Why not?
Lil Jonno's foot rub device.
Pass.
Okay, not to kill the tone of the episode or the pace of it. Kelly, tell us a little bit about Chell.
Chell is yeah. Well, okay. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No problem.
So
It happens with him.
Chell is the protagonist, the silent protagonist from the Portal games, Portal and Portal 2. So she's a test subject who we don't really know much about her, but we know that she's silent and she's very tenacious. She never gives up ever. So she uses a portal gun to go through and to solve many of the testing chambers in Aperture Science, often laid out for her by the AI robot GLaDOS. And she uses her mind to solve all these problems with portals. Now you're thinking with portals. She also likes cake.
Very nice.
Cake is good.
The cake is not a lie, huh?
Mm-mm.
So, although that would be a spoiler, I suppose. So before we get too into it, because I'm not familiar with the character, how do you pronounce the name?
I don't think anyone really knows. I say Chell. It could be Chell.
I've only ever heard of Chell. I've never heard anybody say otherwise.
Then, for the sake of the episode, I guess we'll move forward with it being Chell. Now, I guess into kind of sleepy, like not sleepier territory. I'm not sure why it's so that steamier territory, quite actually, because these are the characters that not many that we know less about. All three of us, and we're just like Kelly. It's just.
She's a bit of an enigma. You don't really get much from her.
Mm-hmm.
Most of her, like, she doesn't really speak, so her dialogue kind of comes from like bouncing off like Wheatley and GLaDOS herself. So
nice.
She's interesting.
How about a bit on Metal Slug, and since I know the series a bit too, we can kind of just go back and forth, I suppose.
Sure thing. So Metal Slug, it's the series name, obviously. I kind of picked that as sort of like a catch-all. It could very well be like a Bowser Jr. situation where you've got like So first of all, the four main characters that are the most common throughout each of the games are Marco Rossi, Tarma Roving, Eri Kasimoto, and Fiora Jeremy. So it could very well be that Marco is the default, but I just sort of said Metal Slug to kind of keep it fair.
Right. That is totally fair. And Metal Slug is a very popular arcade series, especially in the midst of the '90s boom. I think their direct competitor is likely Contra and maybe Gunstar Heroes, since they're both in the arcade shooter format, that 2D side-scrolling goodness that's kind of died out more recently. Metal Slug is still going pretty strong, though. It's also one of the few SNK arcade series that have been ongoing for quite some time that is not a 2D fighting title or IP. And and beyond that, I guess the Metal Slug is the tank. It is the impervious tank that you access at certain parts of certain missions to basically obliterate other enemy soldiers, and later on in the series, aliens.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's like this game isn't crazy enough, so let's throw the aliens in.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, in your moveset, you actually have it set that as you're really playing as somebody that's piloting the tank, so it really just makes sense that they're called Metal Slug as well.
Right, right. It's kind of similar to how perhaps if there's a Blaster Master character they're piloting Sophia the Third, it would be Sophia the Third, the
Right.
character.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. If they don't leave the tank, Metal Slug makes sense, and that's a great submission onto
Well,
the wiki from Kelly, and I think his first.
the way I had visualized it was that the Metal Slug would appear briefly as the final smash, and that
Hmm.
that the term Metal Slug was it's almost like the term hero, where it just kind of is an encompassing term.
Hmm. Oh,
Although
okay.
playing as a Metal Slug would be pretty nifty. That would be
Yeah.
if they were included in Brawl. That's what would
Hmm.
happen. You get a controllable, like the Landmaster, basically.
Yeah.
That would be something.
I
Oh,
mean,
that's pretty cool.
our Porky Minch that we worked on several episodes back actually had Porky piloting inside of his spider mech, so.
Mm.
Yeah.
That seems to be the most
Is
common like portrayal.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, Travis Touchdown. All that I know pretty much from him is that he's from No More Heroes, and
You
yeah,
mean
through the
the
51, it's kind of
Travis?
a
He's from the
yeah.
Travis series.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
right. Good old ESRB.
Oh,
Screwing up that. Because apparently, if you put the logo
obviously.
of the game that's an M-rated game in your video, that means this video has to be M-rated as well. What is their
Yep.
Ridiculous.
nonsense? God.
No
But
clue.
I think
No
that
clue.
rule actually came into effect after Joker was revealed. So I don't know. It's kind of strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. They're they're a bunch of jokers, let's be real.
Yeah, and apparently CERO is even worse per Sakurai's lament. So that's
Oh,
saying
yeah, that's
something.
right.
I've heard all about that.
They nerfed
Hmm.
Snake's ass.
Can't nerf mine. Anyway,
Doesn't need to be.
Apple Man. So
On to Travis.
Yes,
yeah, on to
Travis.
Travis.
So Travis, he's an otaku assassin living in a rundown motel. Basically, he wants to kind of climb the ranks of the United Assassination Association. I believe that's what it's called. And he's an indefensibly vulgar, like horrible dude. Like he swears a lot. He cuts people, like slices them up like to death
This is
with
like
his
Lister, right?
beam katana. Is that right?
Oh, so he's basically Lister.
Does Lister, do you own a beam katana?
I wouldn't say no! Are you kidding me? Come on!
Would be pretty rad, I say.
Yeah!
It would.
What kind of
It would
question
be.
is that? No, you should be asking, like, do you want to become an assassin?
No,
To
no,
which I'd say,
I was asking,
well,
do you own a beam katana?
oh, well, I mean,
And if you don't, then that's like, well, that's fine too.
I have this.
Yeah.
Is it a lightsaber?
No, it's a fucking sword.
Oh,
Can you, are you blind?
yes.
Okay, sorry to knock you off your groove, Kelly. Was there anything else you wanted to say about him?
Um, I think it's just one of those games, that kind of like, I think it's almost like it's so brutal that you can't look away. Europe got
Hmm.
like a censored version, obviously, but for the game itself, it's kind of funny because it's sort of like a meta commentary about like how games can suck sometimes. Because like the big like amazingly like clashes between assassins, like the big highlights of the game, they're kind of like balanced out by all these menial jobs that you have to do to earn money in order to pay for the next fight. So
Hmm.
it's very meta. It's very meta commentary in a really cool way.
Nice, nice, and it's become something of a cult classic. I think it's funny that at the time that was I think in the Wii era too, working with people like Suda51 for the first time for Nintendo was a pretty big deal. That was when they finally started breaking out of the shell that they had lived in prior, where people just assumed that Nintendo was an all-around gaming console for younger
The
people,
Wii is a
essentially.
family console.
Exactly, but then No More Heroes came out. No More Heroes Desperate Struggle came out. Red Steel came out. Red Steel 2,
Bayonetta.
Mad World,
Mad World,
Bayonetta.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
So all sorts of And then Nintendo also made like Zengeki no Dragon Leaf or whatever that was very violent. It was an interesting time, and No More Heroes, I think, probably stands above the rest as the go-to
But
of that bunch.
nothing was as brutal in a Wii game, though, than when Melia got burned by Shulk in Xenoblade Chronicles, right?
Oh, don't even start with that. That's an entire topic in its own.
Yeah, Kelly can start his own podcast about that one himself. A Xenoblade podcast run by Kelly wouldn't be that bad, actually.
Melia deserved better. Moving on.
That could be the name of the podcast.
Yeah. So what's interesting about Travis is that he's the only character of these four that isn't technically a contender anymore because he was revealed as a Mii costume recently.
It's true.
During Steve's presentation. That's right. So,
and it's funny too because he's like the one who fans have gravitated towards the most for putting in Smash of the four.
Although,
that's true.
Well, and if we're also talking about DLC for Ultimate and not in general, I would say the Metal Slug probably also has significantly lower chances considering we have Terry in from SNK and they put in Metal Slug music along with Terry.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they didn't get any Mii Gunner costumes.
Agreed. That would have been cool. That would have been cool. It's a missed opportunity.
Some of the costume choices have been surprising. But some of them surprising in a good way. Vault Boy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Not that I care about Fallout, but that's a great costume.
The present lack of Gino. That's awesome.
Technically, yes.
It remains to be seen.
Still.
I'm going to take off my Apple now.
Oh, thank God. Getting a little hard to breathe in your mask there.
Let's not get political there.
I wasn't. I was
just kidding. Just kidding. No, I'm good. I am good. Apple Man is in his normal identity now, Jonno Man, so he can properly read the computer screen on the Smashtopia Wiki when we get into deliberating over these guys. So that's kind of the explanation there. So it's quite the smorgasbord of characters, to say the least. To the point where it's like, holy moly, I'm not even sure where to start. You have a character from a hack and slash game, a character from a run and gun game, a character from a rhythm game, and a character from a puzzle game. So
from what I know of each of them, so Phantom R, it's very much for them. There's a lot of different kinds of little puzzles they have, and you've all four of these are all on Smashtopia already, designed by Kelly. So Kelly's own movesets are already out there for anybody, including us, to go look at. But from what I know of them all, Phantom R, it's just a rhythm game, so you pretty much have a bunch of their different rhythm options to choose from for like what their moves could be. Travis is not only using his beam katana like a sword, because it's a fucking katana, but he also has a lot of wrestling moves that he has packaged in there. Metal Slug, guns, grenades, tank. And then Chell has all kinds of fun with portals. Like, oh hey, I'm going to shoot this portal over there on that wall, and I'm going to shoot one under you, and now you're gone. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Along with some like slippery, slidey gel, and I don't remember what the other gel is in the first one. I know one makes you slide across. I don't remember what the second one did.
Bounce, or you'd bounce off?
That sounds right. Yeah, bouncy gel. It's been a long time since I played Portal. I never ended up finishing it.
Such a good game.
I do like the idea of having a character like Chell in the game, where the primary option is for fighting is to create portals. That creates a touch and go kind of character that you don't quite have establishing such a dynamic in Smash currently. So that sets her apart immediately in my eyes.
Yeah.
As well as having the various cores, going over Kelly's moveset here, and the companion cube, which is a beautiful little friend that we all know and love, etc. So so right out of the gate, I have a partial lean towards Chell.
That's kind of what I was leaning. What I was leaning towards was, I think, kind of in line with, I think, one of Sakurai's statement, where I think for each character he was trying to incorporate something we hadn't seen before,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and also just ignoring like how technically challenging it would be, just kind of ignoring how hard it would be like for like a portal system to work. I just try to kind of ignore that for the time being.
I mean, they literally edited every single stage when they worked on adding Steve into the game.
That is true.
Yeah, that was something else.
I don't know. I can't imagine portals would be that much more difficult.
Oh my god.
That said, if we're talking in reality, I really hope they get like just take a break on the complicated. Put in some easy characters. You earned a break after Steve.
Yeah.
Please.
Like, I remember when I think when Inkling was going to be in it, I remember a lot of people were thinking like, oh, is it going to be like she's going to be able to paint like all over the stage?
And then
we saw that was kind of
we
kind of scaled that back in the favor of a more practical moveset. So they could very well do the same for Chell, where like it's only like maybe a portal will appear and just float for a millisecond, and like something will come out of it, and it won't be too technical, but it'll still make sense.
Yeah. I kind of feel like if they did that with Chell, it would be a disservice to the characters. Like, some things you can pare back. Inkling, I think it's an easy one to do that for. You don't have to have it to where they're covering ink all over this territory. Because then no character has a chance, because that's not their color ink, so they just have terrible movement in it. But Chell, you take away her ability to use portals and have all kinds of crazy fun. It's not Chell.
How much can you scale something back before it starts to lose its uniqueness? You're saying, right?
It's like I'm not one that purports that every character needs to have their own gimmick. At some point, the gimmicks get exhausting, and it's like I just want to play somebody that's simple and fun. Like, of the other characters that we got in the first round of DLC, I love Banjo and I love Terry because they're both easy. Well, not necessarily, but they're a lot simpler. I don't have to deal with fucking weapons breaking or having to make sure I have enough materials to power my minecart. Or it's like, oh hey, do I have enough in my gauge to make Joker's moves better?
Definitely a more cerebral style of playing for sure, to have to manage all those for sure.
Sure. It's also, although, on the other hand, devil's advocate, I suppose, of playing, because I also prefer the simpler characters myself when playing Smash. It's also kind of lends itself to the fun of the development cycle and seeing where they can take these characters. Like Steve, for instance, is not a character I'm going to main, but it's also extremely impressive that they were able to place him into the game to the extent that they have.
Agreed.
And so I'm a fan of the character's inclusion for that reason. I was quite excited with the announcement. And for the announcement, you can look back on episode 31, Mining, Crafting, and Smashing, where Lister and I talk about Minecraft Steve at length. But anyway, so yeah, I still have a little bit of a soft spot for Chell so far. But there's still 3 other characters that we haven't really touched base on whatsoever. Kelly, is there one that you would be partial towards maybe tapping on next, so that way you can kind of assess their abilities?
Why don't we try Phantomar then?
All right.
I think after Chell, I think of all these characters, Chell is definitely my most wanted in terms of how they would be able to work her in. But as pure bias goes, I would say Phantomar, just because of how stylish she would be. So why don't we talk about him? Why don't we talk about him for a bit?
Okay.
So are you familiar with?
Yep.
Have you seen any gameplay about how Rhythm Thief sort of plays?
Only what you linked me to when you sent me the moveset for him.
Oh, okay. Just so
I had fight some time ago.
So most of it's just kind of like, overworld, like world map, talking to people, sort of like in that Layton style. But then when you do get into the mini games or the rhythm mini games, it sort of goes like this. So it's got there's like a bar on the top of the screen that shows like a current grade about how well you're doing. So successful button presses will fill that gauge, and then misses will obviously sort of deplete that gauge. So what I sort of wanted to do with Raphael was sort of make it so like the better you were performing or fighting, the more that gauge would fill up. So when that gauge was full, then you could sort of perform like it almost provides like an extra boost extra buff to your standard special, which I called Showstopper, where he kind of strikes a pose and kind of causes a big like area of effect explosion sort of around him, almost like a say, "Show's over, folks."
Very nice. And let's see, looking quite over here for a moment. Let's see. So yeah, very, very stylish character to say the least. I'm kind of skimming over just to recall. Coming from a rhythm game, is there a rhythm mechanic incorporated in the moveset or anything that you thought of along those lines?
When I was making the moveset, I was originally playing with the idea about like, what if you could sort of be tuned into the current music playing in the background, like if you struck the opponent in time with like the beat, that would cause more damage. But then I just thought, oh, what if the song is like environmental noises or something like that?
It's funny you bring that
get
up.
A little trickier.
It's really funny you bring that up because Jonno and I am discussing on the side, like, talking about trying to do a kind of rhythm character at some point in the future, and we'd like to do it sooner rather than later, but it's all going to seal on what we can build out. And Jonno was like, "Oh, why can't we have them attack and do the rhythm based in time with the music?" I'm just like, environmental noises.
Yep, that's it.
There
that's
you go. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can have them have like their own rhythm that kind of like plays along top of it. Like if they activate a side special, there might be like a special beat that comes along with that. But you can't do it in tune with the actual stage's music. It just does not work. Unless you...
It's sort of like...
And even if you say like, okay, well, if we just remove environmental noise and it's just like the actual real songs in the game, it's like, okay, you do realize that some of them are going to be a lot more difficult than others.
Yeah.
That whole idea, wow, cool, doesn't work in Smash.
So to this point,
Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, sorry, I was probably going to say the same thing as you, so go ahead.
Well, it's okay. No, I was just when Lister was talking about the side special, that's sort of what I had in mind. So this is going to be a weird example, but you know, you're familiar with like Lego Star Wars games?
Yes.
How like so good.
I'm looking forward to the new one.
Yeah, Skywalker Saga, bring it on.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a kid playing those games, I found out like when you were playing as like Jedi or with lightsabers, you could like obviously when you're smashing the B button and you're kind of like, you know, slicing over and over and over. I found out that like if you kind of time your B button presses to be a little more like just a little less like frantic, there actually changes the sound and the effect of the lightsaber to do more damage. It almost felt like some sort of like technical things that would kind of separate like newcomers who were just going B B B B B B B, and it was very minor. But I just thought something like that could be worked in. Where like so for Raphael's side special, it's sort of like Marth's or Roy's dancing blade, although you sort of have to commit to it and you have to do 4 in a row, and so it's based on how well you can sort of space out the B button presses to be as kind of on the same rhythm as possible, and that will help maximize the damage.
Very
that
nice.
Makes sense, kind of.
Yeah. So there's the rhythm meter builds up similarly to almost Arsene and Joker, but then and by my assessment anyway. But then you have something like the looting lunge that is more rhythmically inclined as well. So there are tangible elements of the rhythm in Rhythm Thief in the character. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and I do enjoy that reading through this. It's pretty obvious that the character has a style and a grace about him. So I could see why you would be.
He's very stealthy. He's very sneaky. Like if he does things right, then he can be rewarded for it. But when he messes up, then he gets punished for it hard.
Mm-hmm.
That was sort of what I was going for. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Then buddy boy, how about some Metal Slug? This is pretty cool to me. Probably just because it's the series that I'm most involved in personally. So you have Metal Slug, as Kelly said earlier. It's kind of just called that because there's 4 separate characters that you can play between, and then the Metal Slug tank itself is used for the final smash. So this is a run and gun character, just playing as on the same level playing field as the other characters for the most part. That
if you had
said,
to pick a character, which character would you want to pick, Jonno?
I'd probably choose Marco, just because I played Metal Slug won the most, and he was
like the
the primary
sunglasses.
character. Yeah, yeah, the sunglasses are good. Then let's see, why? Which one would you pick?
I was gonna say either Marco or Fio, because I think Fio and no wait, sorry. So Parma has the sunglasses. My bad.
Yeah,
But I do know Marco and Fio. I think they've both been featured in a 3D SNK fighting game.
I
I
believe
can't
so.
remember
Yeah.
which one. I can't remember.
Good question. There was a Metal Slug fighting game, apparently. Yeah, that's the first time I've ever heard of that.
Oh wow.
A quick Google search, I'm not really quite sure. It says Art of
It had a
Fighting, but I don't
boss.
think that's right.
Oh.
Huh. Cool. Maybe
Shows what
we'll...
I know, but apparently you can fight the Metal Slug as a boss in that game. It would just drop down and you could like punch it to death.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I also like the here on your Smashtopia moveset that I'm looking over. You have the Hyakutaro, which is pretty
Right. They
entertaining.
were able to kind of take inspiration from some of the 2D fighting games that I think because Marco was in that one. He could summon Getakuro.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Prisoner of War Disguise, living legend who comes around and thank you. And when you save him, and then he just beats the crap out of Oh man, yeah, good man. And then a mobile satellite similar to Snake's Cypher, pineapple shaped looking grenade, with an aiming reticle, so a tad different than Snake's grenades. And they explode on contact as well, true to Metal Slug. Then the Metal Slug itself is the Final Smash. Pretty utilitarian device, I would say, shooting off 10 rockets that hone in on opponents. And for the extra skill, they receive stars, just like in Metal Slug. Where these stars can be used to boost the power of the run and gun move. So similarly enough to the rhythm meter and Showstopper for Phantomar, it looks like Metal Slug character can be given certain damage boosts to the run and gun move, which is pretty cool. You can like cancel the move or cause recoil of your shots or have infinite ammo.
You can sort of think about it like. I guess you could sort of think about it like regularly shooting with B would be like a rapid fire of like Fox's blaster, and then once you have the extra skill activated, it'd sort of be like a rapid fire of Falco's blaster where it causes a bit of stun lock.
Very nice, very nice. Mm-hmm. No, I like that quite a bit, and I guess kind of lastly we have Travis Touchdown, who I guess the relation from jumping from Metal Slug to Travis is that they're both from kind of violent games for the time. That's pretty much it.
that pixel animation was pretty vivid for its time.
Oh yeah. I
agree.
But yeah, Travis is also a vulgar man, as was insinuated in Kelly's final Smash or extra skill description, because because he shakes his beam katana. To say the least.
Good boys and girls. We have to adjust the animation just so it looks a little less suggestive.
Yeah. Suggesting of what, I may ask?
There is also a victory pose with a toilet.
Yeah.
Who is he? Norman Reedus?
You can't not have it.
Apparently that's how you save the game, and I was like, okay, that's where no one actually saw it. In watching somebody else stream, I was like, oh god, this is the saving screen. Why?
Oh boy, because they're wild out there.
Sure.
Yeah. Good old Suda. So he's a very in-your-face character, as is appropriate given No More Heroes and given Travis himself. And more so, it's just that battery charge at the center of the moveset where you have his beam katana as a primary weapon. So you have to charge up every so often to restore its energy and get back to full power. If I'm understanding this correctly, so that's a good usage. And otherwise, he's a close combat melee character with the beam katana. So I think the mostly what would set him apart from the other sword fighters, other than the beam katana certainly having different status effects than a traditional sword, is just Travis himself being quite the individual.
I think his down special
Lister
also
mentioned.
Oh, yes. What?
Yeah.
Wait, I mentioned what?
Oh, I think Lister, you also mentioned the wrestling moves that Travis can do. Kind of add some physical flair as well.
Right. He's not just a sword fighter. He has a multitude of wrestling moves in the games as well. And in particular, on this moveset, we have Dragon Suplex, for a command grab as a side special, where he'll pull him into a headlock and then bend his back to the floor, slamming their head into the ground, which is always fun. Poor Duck Hunt Dog. And then a special being Tiger Style, which technically I don't think that's a wrestling move, but he turns into a tiger, which is still what? And he does it's essentially an uppercut with tiger claws, which is
I was really struggling on. I was struggling on a couple things. One was the recovery, because I wasn't sure what aerial move really fit Travis, because I didn't think he had much. I just sort of made it like a tiger lunge, like a pounce upwards. And then for I was also thinking of making his grabs. His throws could very well be other wrestling moves, but I really liked the idea of like a command grab that worked almost like Shulk's backslash, where it does maximum damage when you grab an opponent from behind.
Right.
Back grab.
I've often found that the up special move is the hardest one to come up with for a lot of characters. Yeah. Some characters have a really simple one. Other times it's just like, what am I going to be inventing this time around? Oh boy.
I was quite happy with the wolf lunge for Midna. No, more recently. That was fairly entertaining. As a side note. Check out Midna on Smashtopia. Let's see. So we've kind of gone over the characters. We know who they are. We know where they come from.
Something else I want to mention with Travis that also makes him a little bit different from a lot of sword fighters. You know, a lot of characters have counter moves. And Travis technically has a counter move here on this moveset for his sound special being Weapon Clash. But it works in a quite a bit of different way in that he can actually lose his own counter.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You can't just throw it out and hope something hits you. You kind of have to. It kind of puts both players in sort of like basically like a weapon lock. Like you both have to work at it if you want to come out on top. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
And it's something that actually pulls right out of his games too. It's not just like, oh yeah, we don't know what to get this character, so let's just give him a counter, even if they have other options. No, Weapon Clash is like it's something that's one of Travis's main things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You spin the remote in a circle.
Yeah. Even if you've never played No More Heroes or never even watched a Let's Play, you've probably seen promotional art with the Weapon Clash, which is pretty cool. So very, very true to the game, and quite different enough from other brawlers and other sword fighters, to say the least. So a contender, all contenders, and all great characters that Kelly has conditioned for the Smashtopia Wiki already. So you can check those out on the wiki page for Smashtopia, as well as Kelly's other submissions, like his take on Violet. So do that if you haven't. And with that said, we know the characters, we know where they come from, and we know what they can do, pretty much as kind of detailed by Kelly in his movesets he's posted on the wiki. So with that said, I guess it's kind of time for the nitty gritty. Where are our leans at, and what kind of deliberation is going to go down to get us from 4 to 2 winners?
So here's what I'm going to propose on how we do this.
Sure.
I would say let's start off by just naming one character who we lean towards the most. And if either we're all in agreement or if like two of us we're liking the other person's like, yeah, okay, sure, we can move that person as one of our 2 winners. If we have different names, that's when the debate begins. And thankfully it won't be a bullet time kind of debate, because that would not be fun.
No.
So I honestly I can lean in a few different ways. There's one that I'm not leaning towards, but the other three I could all be convinced of probably fairly easily. What about you guys?
I have a quick proposal. How about we bring back Appleman as a fourth tiebreaker if need be?
That sounds fair.
Yeah.
No.
Do you pronounce Appleman like Pepsi Man? Like Appleman?
Yeah.
Is that
We have
also
this whole
the
theme.
evil apple from the old cinnamon apple? Whatever what was that cereal?
Oh yeah.
With, like,
What
there's
was
a
it?
cinnamon guy and there's
Apple
an evil
Jacks.
apple. That's
It was
what it
Apple Jacks.
was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is
They
that
have
your
caramel
Apple
Apple
Man?
Jacks now.
Did he get a demotion?
Apple Jacks.
We'll get Appleman and Cinnamon
You
Stick Man
might not
into the
have them
Smashtopia
up
Wiki.
in Canada land over there. I don't know if you have that.
Okay, so Jonno, do you want to tell us who you're leaning most towards?
Sure. I can be swayed pretty much either which way at this point. If we're naming one character that we are most interested in having in Smash, I do have that lean as well. Since Lister didn't quite preface his with names yet, I guess perhaps we'll go to you, Kelly, and see what you're kind of thinking.
Okay. Again, this is really hard.
Yeah, they're all your children.
Yeah. Hard to pick between.
Which one is the redheaded stepchild?
I think for,
It's Jonno.
I think for me though, it's gonna come down to who would contribute the most and the most unique mechanic, or be the most different if they were included in the cast today. Because with someone like, so for instance, like you've got like Metal Slug characters and Travis Touchdown, they're both really cool, but they both share a lot. They overlap a lot with the pre-existing, sword fighter characters and gunner characters. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that I think that there's other characters that can do a lot more to contribute, I'd say. Yeah, so Phantom Mars also really, really cool. He's very unique. But we also kind of have Joker already, who, well, he's not really a rhythm character. Well, I guess he kind of is a rhythm character. Persona 5 Dancing Star Knight, anyone?
Fair enough.
So I'm going to lean towards Chell because for multiple reasons. I think she would have a lot of unique portal shenanigans with like inertia, like you said, with like the gels perhaps, or the cores, just because of also her representation as like a Valve rep, who are basically like the Nintendo of PC gaming. Yeah, it's really hard to say. I think I'd have to lean towards Chell though.
Concur.
And plus, like, also, this doesn't really count as much as the other points maybe, but like, I like to think that Valve has a pretty good working relationship with Nintendo already. Like, you've seen like Portal Bridge Constructor on Switch. You've seen like Lego Dimensions get some Portal 2 content, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and so I concur with that, and I also, as a minor point, and a footnote addendum to it as well. I think that it's cool that we have a very strong female lead that's being incorporated into Nintendo, like into Smash, because we're still lacking in that department. Kind of, but Chell is of a new pedigree. Anywho,
I mean, we're saying new pedigree, but when was Portal 2 released again?
Pedigree for Smash
at this point. Okay. I mean, Smash. Even then, Bayonetta.
Chell's better than Bayonetta.
This Portal 2 came out in 2011.
Damn. You're not wrong, but damn. So, here's my thing on Chell. Obviously, she's the best pick of these four. I mean, come on. Whoa. I mean, seriously. The whole port. First of all, just the portals alone. Look, I said earlier, it was like, I'm not a big fan of just having characters be on gimmicks. And where I'm coming from that on is, like, you don't need to have a gimmick for a gimmick's sake. Some characters are just fine being nice and chill. Not everybody needs to be complicated. Does Mario need a gimmick? No. Does Link? No.
You can possess people with Cappy. But no.
It would not work. I don't care what people say, it will not work. But of these, Chell would be a really interesting character to do. Portals are something that will just change the game, and it would cause all kinds of chaos. Professional tournaments would hate her, which kind of makes her more fun. But I just think she'd be the most fun of these four to add in. Is she going to be difficult to use? Yep. But I think she'd be really interesting. It'd be really fun. So I would absolutely go with Chell of these four. She'd be my top pick. I had at one point been considering working on a moveset for her, and then Kelly beat me to it. Just like, you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
You know, to your credit too. Yep, he did.
I mean, I didn't have the established
you don't have to.
No, it's like I have like a list of like 100, 200 plus characters. Just like, these are ideas I'd love to do at some point, and shit was in that list. I'm just like, I have too many that I will never be able to do them all. I'm well aware of this.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, to your credit, Lister, you also have done characters that similarly in the past that have had unique dynamics, like Tracer.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, so Tracer like Tracer
was difficult for me to make work, particularly with her recall ability, where she can rewind time for her own personal self. She's like, how do I make this fair, and also work in the confines of Smash?
Yeah,
it didn't make sense not to include, but how do I make sense out of it?
Yeah. Well, hey, you did it. Kelly did it with Chell, and Sakurai did it with Steve. So, well, I guess that means we're fast tracking Chell. So now we're down to the boys.
So it's Metal Slug. Well, technically not just boys, because Metal Slug also has girls. Travis Touchdown and Phantom are our remaining three. Of these, there's one that I'm just not as enthused about. The other two, I can kind of be convinced of, but I do have a lean between them, just out of what I think would be slightly more interesting between them.
Yeah. So here's the interesting thing, right? So what you're saying between the lines is that you're not as interested in Phantom R, and you want Metal Slug and Travis Touchdown. What Kelly's thinking is that he prefers Phantom R and is not as interested in Metal Slug and Travis Touchdown. So, there's going to be a debate there, my boys.
I don't like how you are putting words in our mouths, and when we did not say those words necessarily.
But I'm just assuming, based on both of your characters, I'm guessing that I'm right. So,
I'm not sure what I'm thinking yet. Give me a moment.
See, this man doesn't even know yet. So, all right, since Jonno's going to be all like that, I'll just go into my own personal thoughts here between the three of them.
Sure.
First of all, when it comes to Phantom R, for me, I don't do rhythm. I don't do dance. I don't do music. I don't do any of that shit. So whenever I hear rhythm character, I'm just like, I mean, sure, but I'm personally never gonna be enthused. He has some interesting stuff with his moveset. He's also just the character that's, of the four of them, I've literally never heard of. So I don't have any kind of like, So I don't have like anything even there connected to the character to be interested in. Like, there's Persona dancing games. There's a Final Fantasy Viva rhythm. I know those franchises though, so I can actually speak to them. Phantom R, I can't speak to. Metal Slug, we have multiple characters that are kind of military and gunny. But what the difference is between Metal Slug guys is, I mean, we have a move that summons. We can upgrade our gun. We can have a sneak sniper, grenades, and then the tank coming in for Final Smash. That's all quite a bit different. Travis, he's another sword fighter, sure, but he's quite a bit of a different fare than Marth or Link or Shulk or any of the other ones. None of them can turn into a tiger. None of them slam the people's heads into the ground. None of them have weapon clash. None of them shake their katana. At all. Whether that's a plus or a con, I'll let the viewers decide, because
True.
I ain't touching that.
The toilet is inescapable.
Well, there is another toilet on the wiki already. The unfortunate toilet assist trophy.
Very nice, one of my favorites. Yours.
Favorite of mine.
Check
that one out. It's fun.
There's a toilet as a trophy? How does that one work?
So you've played
Maybe I
Zelda
shouldn't
games,
ask.
right? You played the Zelda games, right, Kelly?
Oh, is it like the hand that comes out?
The hand in the toilet. I call the
Right.
unfortunate toilet. I
Holy
think it's
smoke.
just like the toilet comes up. You hear a little voice asking for paper, and that's all it does. That's literally it. But it can be attacked, and when it's damaged, it'll shriek out and it'll go like flying across the stage, kind of like Pac-Man's hydrant. That's the
Maybe
whole thing. That's it.
you'll
It's a very
maybe
unfortunate toilet.
it'd be really cool like if it could give you like a piece of heart like in Majora's Mask, and then like that would you could use that to heal you if you did something properly. The hand is like, here, take this piece of heart, and then
Yeah.
I might have to edit this
Anyway.
shortly now.
That's
If it
pretty
gets
cool. I
KO'd,
like
he
that
gets
idea.
sent flying, then it drops behind a heart container for healing.
Hmm.
I'm gonna when this is done, I'm gonna make a change to that guy.
Nice.
I like
So,
that.
interesting. So, my thoughts can go in any direction at this point. Phantom R, I'm not as familiar with as the other characters, but that is not a detriment to me because when I hear, I kind of offset the balance with Lister's veering away from rhythm-based characters. I have a passion for rhythm-based characters, and the idea of developing them into something that can work in Smash. So having Phantom R, and I also like the Professor Layton style of titles, and Kelly touched on that a little bit and how there's similarities there. So that's a plus in my mind as well. Travis Touchdown, uh, lots of character there, very popular character in the Smash community, uh, and just his the vibrance of he himself, along with the wrestling lean and the tiger thing, make him pretty interesting. Metal Slug, uh, intrinsic bias because I played the series, plus what Lister's already said about the uniqueness of the character as opposed to other gunner type characters. But they're pretty even for me for now. So kind of want to just hear what the rest of you guys have to say. I guess Kelly, if you formed any thoughts.
Sure thing. Yeah, it's hard because I think I'm thinking of each of these the three characters in like different perspectives. So like for Metal Slug, I think for Metal Slug, from like a fan service point of view, it'd be probably the biggest contender for like because I love like what they do with alternate costumes, like with like the hero or Steve and Alex, Zombie and Enderman. I
Oh yeah,
absolutely love when they do that. So seeing like four different characters in one, that's always a huge plus. Um,
agreed.
but I suppose, yeah, like it's hard to like, because I guess with all their special moves, for instance, there's not much to like separate them from something that like the Mii Gunner, for instance, can already do, like throw grenades, shoot rapidly. So there's that. For Phantom Mar, yeah, that's a biased pick for sure. He has some in a vacuum. He's got some cool like some fighting prowess in his game. Like he's got some really neat moments where he shows off just kind of like inhuman levels of strength for some reason. Like I'm gonna hit you, punch you in time with the beat, and you go flying. Um, but other than that, he's really just like a French Michael Jackson. I don't mean he looks like him. It's kind of a dumb way to put it, but yeah, it's more about like the intrigue of the story than like the physicality, I guess.
It's the hat,
Um,
I guess.
it's the hat. It's always the hat. Yeah, I
It's
think
the
Travis
hee.
Touchdown. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, all I said was it's the hee.
I think
There you
for like
go.
mechanically though, like for technical stuff, I think Travis probably beats the other two out by a wide margin. I think we were discussing with like the weapon clash and the tiger and all the other neat things you can do. And yeah, I think from a character standpoint, he also definitely has the other two beat. So if we're not counting like the current exclusion with Mii Gunner, Travis, then I would say like I'd say Travis Touchdown would be my second choice for sure.
Very nice. Very nice. I enjoyed the deliberation and the explanation. I can see where you're coming from. Uh, Lister, do you have kind of a lean here?
Oh, I do. I have a lane.
I know what you're gonna say.
Really?
Again,
Who am I gonna lean towards?
Travis?
Well, allow me to reveal that my lean, the person out of these three who I would pick to be added to Smash, is Metal Slug.
Really?
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Like, Travis is fine choice. I have nothing against Travis. But when it comes, but just looking at my experience with these is pretty much just what I have here on the movesets. I don't have much else to go on. I have very small knowledge of them outside of it, but I think Metal Slug would be more interesting to play as.
That's fair.
That's a surprise. I think that I kind of feel like when we're leaning into this that you were interested in Travis. I guess maybe discussion talked it down.
Never try to predict me. Ever.
I like predicting you.
You fail at it.
I predicted that you would shave your beard between episodes.
You did not.
I did.
It wasn't supposed to be, but then in this episode's recording got delayed.
Yep. I predicted it would be delayed.
You slept for 5 hours!
Alright, guys, let's save the finger pointing for the Phoenix Wright discussion, please.
Oh, that episode's... unfortunately, Phoenix Wright is already on the Smashtopia Wiki, courtesy of me, so...
True.
That doesn't mean we can't do Edgeworth, though.
So, Lister, can I ask,
Yes.
for the Metal Slug crew, do you see them being sort of like, kind of like echoing how Mega Man sort of like moves in Smash, or do you see them being a little more like dynamic in their own sense?
How do you mean moving like Mega Man?
Sort of like harkening back to like the static sort of like sprites and like jump and shoot, how they kind of like their bodies
like,
sort of...
like if their animations would get pulled straight out of the original games.
Hmm.
Sakurai's been doing that when it comes to some of these older characters. Like, again, it happened with Mega Man. There's somebody else. I think Banjo-Kazooie has some of those similars as well. Terry, obviously. I could definitely see it for the Metal Slug characters. It would not surprise me if Sakurai went that route. He loves, when it comes to the older characters, he loves harkening back to their original or more popular forms. It's like when it came to Pac-Man, if he had to use Ghostly Adventures, it was not going to happen. It was original. It was a classic 3D Pac-Man or bust. I don't think it's necessarily the case with everything, but he has shown an inclination towards either their original form or their most popular / iconic form.
Steve did the same thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Steve, even better on that one, Steve's entire being is ripped straight out of Minecraft. It's the exact same textures.
It's perfect.
For both him and all the blocks as well, for the stage and everything. It is 1-to-1 Minecraft. Like every other character, they have their own artistic style that gets worked on in Smash. Steve is literally just like, no, yeah, this is the exact Steve from Minecraft. He mined his way into Smash and just like, oh, hey, I'm here now. What's up?
It's perfect. It's 1-to-1, like you said. I think people started modding him like day one.
Probably, yeah. I would not doubt that. I also saw mods recently of the Among Us characters over Pac-Man, which was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
No custom moves, but still those guys.
Man.
Every move is just kill.
Yeah.
So Kelly is kind of in Travis's corner. Blisters and Metal Slugs.
I don't recall Kelly saying that.
I believe you did, right, Kelly? Or am I mistaken?
I would say, yeah. Like I think it's hard to say. I think Travis would lend a lot of character. He would lend a lot of like. I don't know if it's fair to say he's more technical than like Metal Slug, for instance. But I think he adds a lot of like. I think it's a very Suda thing to kind of like say, here's a sword fighter. Oh, just kidding. He's a lot more like brutal and visceral and throwing people around on the floor, breaking their necks and stuff like that.
Okay.
Does he hang up people?
I want to give a point to Metal Slug too, but I think just like seeing, like, I put so much into Travis's file, and just seeing him at least get a nod in Smash was really kind of what did it for me. So
yeah,
really hard to say, but I'll lean towards Travis, sure.
Okay, that's funny because I lean towards Phantom R.
I figured you probably would.
Nah, just kidding. I actually am leaning towards one of the two characters that you and Kelly have already talked about.
Oh,
Yeah. So we can.
I mean, if
Okay.
you're not sure, feel free to ask questions or run through your own thought process.
So not much of a thought process here that we haven't already covered, honestly. Just between the characters and their unique traits, we already have that down. I actually kind of agree with Kelly where what makes the most sense for Smash and just the current scape, in my mind at least, feels like Travis. But at the same time, my lean, for the reasons that you, Lister, have already mentioned, plus my own natural bias towards the series, is Metal Slug as well. So there's a bit of a conflict of interest there. And as for Phantom R, I am very warm towards the idea of the character being playable. I'm not quite sure what makes him slightly lesser in the scope of a Smasher Dash. Not necessarily in how I view the character and how Kelly wrote the moveset, just for the sake of the discussion here. I'm not sure what lends him to be a little lesser in that scope. Honestly, but hearing both of your points, I could lean either direction. It's just Metal Slug is the current bias.
I think what's interesting is that both Metal Slug and No More Heroes both have recency, because we know No More Heroes 3 is also coming soonish.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Metal Slug is also has a new game on the horizon somewhere.
I think so. Like Metal Slug 10 or something along those lines. It's recently released.
That's right.
And an anthology as well.
Just in case striking while the iron is hot.
Oh yeah. Now they need that Appleman game out.
Yeah, if they could balance out Metal Slug's like running and gunning, I could see it happening.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, Metal Slug 10 came out in 1999.
Yeah, their most recent game was in 2009.
Nice.
Whoa.
Metal Slug 7, which is also called Metal Slug XX, which it would be 20, so I don't know how that's 7. Like, okay.
I don't know.
Did Microsoft name it? People say Valve can't count to 3, but at least they can count in a straight line.
Metal Slug X then. Yeah. There you go.
I think there was an iPhone game in there
I think
somewhere.
Valve can kind of count to Alex, I think.
I'm still waiting on Left 4 Dead 3.
At least it's a step in the right direction.
Yep.
At least.
Yep.
If you like VR, sure.
If you like feet. Interesting. But to my understanding, it seems like our top two here are Travis and Metal Slug.
Yep.
If I'm okay. And
I would be willing to concede.
Yep.
If we're taking into account, if we're taking into account the Travis Me costume, I'd be willing to concede to Metal Slug.
I mean, we don't necessarily have to keep that in mind because this is a hypothetical of we don't necessarily struggle of okay, this is only going to be like DLC for Ultimate. It's just future of Smash in general.
Right.
It's like when we discussed Edelgard, Claude, and Dimitri before. It's like Byleth already, but we still discuss them.
Yeah. So it's more so. Okay, let's put it this way. Metal Slug versus Travis. Kelly, what makes you choose Travis in the matchup?
I guess just because of all the characterization he's got, like let's count him on. He's got multiple, even like going outside of like what the movesets are. He's got like multiple beam katanas he could switch between. He's had like a fight in a giant robot battle. His whole like sort of like contrast between like the kind of cutesy 8-bit style and like the more brutal, edgy, realistic style. And I guess just all like the the dynamicness, I guess I should say, of just how his gameplay works. Metal Slug's also really awesome, but it's more straightforward. Like you got like here's the enemy, shoot it, move A to B. I guess with Travis, there's a lot more riding against him. Like he's fighting through like malls and stuff of like literal armies of people with like pistols, and he's just like, here, take this, slice. It's hard to put into words, I guess, but just kind of like something like that. Yeah, how real he is.
I gotcha, and I think probably at least partially just the hype of the community around the character has probably fueled a bit of the excitement there.
He's riding the wave right now, so to speak.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. And then for Lister, if I recall, it's more of a just the mechanical differences of Metal Slug.
It's a couple things. For one, I really like how the run and gun standard special and the extra skill work together. I really love how they go. Having 4 characters that you can use for different ults is always something that's fun. The tank is really cool. Also, I don't think we have anything of that particular genre in Smash yet. We don't have anything that is your side-scrolling shooter game either. And people, like, something I like to see is I like to see multiple genres be represented. And having another one that's new, hell yeah. We have Travis. I don't know if he's necessarily strictly would be considered a hack and slash, but there are a couple characters like that already in. Well, at least one being Bayonetta. I'm not sure about the rest of them, but we don't have anything that would be like Metal Slug either. The closest thing is Snake. More so because of similarities between the mobile satellite special that he has. But beyond that, But beyond that, he's fairly different. The closest thing we have to a grenade move is Banjo-Kazooie, but that one works quite a bit differently considering they're shitting out the egg behind them. Where this one is, you actually get to throw it in front of you, which is a little bit more useful. Sorry, Banjo, but shooting grenades out behind me, not that great. Maybe it's like in a free-for-all, sure, but if it's just a 1v1, that's not a good move.
Yeah, the lead time is so fast on that move too. It's not like you can pick it up from behind you and throw it. Make a fair amount of time.
Right. But it's like, and then Travis. I mean, if I had watched more of his games, I might be more interested in him. But as it stands now, all I really know is he wants to be an assassin. He is an assassin. He wants to be the top ranked. He brutally murders everyone in front of him with his beam katana, and he can somehow turn into a tiger. And he's a wrestler. That's all I got.
Think about the tiger. Think about the tiger and take it into your heart.
He has a kitten. I know that too.
Yeah.
He's got a kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big loser, but we love him.
The cat or Travis?
Oh no, the Travis.
Okay, yeah.
The cat's
I've heard him described as like, in a way, Travis is as if the lonely internet kid somehow could kill people, which is, now that I think about it, it's kind of scary. I don't like this anymore.
It's an American reality.
Yeah, like for Travis, I will, if I can add that he does go through a lot of. The first game is pretty much him like wanting to get to number 1. By the time 2 rolls around, he really gets a lot of good like character development and humanization, and realizing like the effect that he's having. So I'll just leave that there.
And I think this is for the 3rd one. They're fighting aliens or some shit.
Yeah, aliens coming to conquer Earth.
So, okay, so now we have the number 1 assassin killing aliens. Okay. What the fuck, guys?
Metal Slug has aliens. No More Heroes, aliens. Always with the aliens.
Phantom Thief,
crossover.
There you go.
Bonaparte, Napoleon is an alien. Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah, Napoleon Zombie is his next character. What?
Even Chell connected somewhat to Half-Life's universe.
Yeah.
Sorta.
Because GLaDOS mentions Black Mesa.
Yeah. Borealis. Weird, eh? I guess I will say that like the run and gun mechanic of Metal Slug is probably a lot more interesting, or it would be a lot more interesting to use than like in comparison to Travis's like shake sword. It's basically like Inkling's recharge mechanic, where instead of just like shoot, do better shoot, it's like do better with sword.
Right.
Shake the sword, but it's so raunchy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They knew what they were doing.
I love that response. It's just, ugh.
Dot dot dot.
Dot dot dot. Okay. So to me, it really seems like you guys both have made very strong cases for the characters, and it kind of feels like it might fall on my shoulders to tiebreak.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Lister's firmly in Metal Slug's corner. Kelly's firmly in Travis's corner.
The funny thing is, you say firmly in their corners, but I think both of us, with the proper push, would swap characters.
Yeah, I agree. Because there's
Like,
so much potential on both sides.
So, like, either one of them would be good picks.
Oh, yeah.
I would be happy with either one in this Smash S, that is. In reality, if we randomly got Metal Slug or Travis and been like, and not one of these other people, I'd be like, what?
We'd be happy.
Fine. It's not one of my picks, but fine.
I would be hyped as shit if we had Metal Slug, I won't lie.
Think about the music potential as well. Like, I know we've already got a bit of Metal Slug music too. We could get a lot more Metal Slug tracks added. And also with Travis, we could pretty much get like almost every No More Heroes track is on the table.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because with your Travis moveset, you also gave me the stage for him with 51 music tracks. I had to go hyperlink the fucking thing, and some of them I had to find new versions of because the link wasn't working for whatever reason. It was like, here's a 30-minute extended version. It's like, I'm not putting that down. I'll find a shorter 5-minute version. Thank you very much. No.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I took ages to find all the right ones.
One of them I couldn't actually find because you said for the song instrumental version, but the link you gave me wasn't the instrumental version. I could not find an instrumental version. I was like, that was mostly
just to kind of be in line with, hey, this song has swearing, so let's take kind of like how, well, I guess this doesn't count, but like Snake Eater for some reason is instrumental. I guess for like Philistine, they would just keep the lyrics out because it's got swearing in it.
I mean, they also censored the DK rap.
Oh yeah, true. Well, you're a gosh darn Philistine.
Like that kind of? I mean, they could.
Bring it on, you gosh dang kitty.
You gumdrop.
Yeah.
Oh,
good
boy.
Boys and girls.
You Apple man. Okay. Yeah. Crap.
So, Jonno, do you have any lean, whatever? Because we're kind of just like on you, dude. It's like
I kind of noticed.
A fucking decision.
Hold on,
both Kelly and I, we're happy with either way.
Yeah, let's.
Someone's got to resolve it.
Let me just find someone. Just hold on a sec. I'd like to call in this for an intermission.
Gonna phone a friend?
Oh God. This nonsense. So Kelly, how's the weather?
Pretty mild here. I'm liking this week's been pretty mild.
Oh, that's cool. What games have you been playing lately?
I'm trying to 100% Xenoblade.
Oh, I'm just playing some Yu-Gi-Oh.
Hello, Dennison.
Oh,
I have returned. I am Appleman. It's good to see you all. Treat me as Jonno's echo, or his alternate costume, if you will.
He has a lot of those.
He has a lot of those, but I may be the best.
Eventually you'll be thrown in the closet just like all the rest.
Well,
is that a rhyme
nonetheless. I hear that I'm needed for a tiebreaker, to say the least. So you boys have been trying to decide between Travis Touchdown of the No More Heroes franchise and Metal Slug of the Metal Slug franchise. A fairly appropriate name for it, given the name of the game is the same as the character. So, I would like to strip the firm
What?
skin
No,
from
do
off
not.
Wait a minute. Wait a
from
minute.
off of my brain, my mental appendage, to share with you the grit of my mind within the core of my being. You will find
Wrap it up, old man.
you will bite into the answer with no worms attached because I'm a fresh apple man.
But those games are good.
Retrieved from the local five and dime store. Off the corner of Oracle and Moore Road. So, Travis Touchdown, what a guy. We and him go way back. We're actually school buddies from middle school. Both went to
No way.
Dover. Yeah. Beam katana and all. He was quite the individual. He spent a lot of time shaking his sword. As for Metal Slug, I haven't met them yet, but they're personal heroes of mine. I too have a tank that I'm building in my garage that I would like to fight alien forces at some point in my life. The soundtracks of both of these characters quite intense. You have militaristic battle music and a sci-fi world place with Metal Slug, and you have this in-your-face punk atmosphere in the scape of Assassinville and No More Heroes. It really you must ask yourself truly, like what do, as the children say, what do, and so it's to no easy decision, no fine, it's difficult to decide. I am just going to kind of consult my paper here and see what works best. And in the end, I suppose that
Wrap
for the
it up.
visual aid, this is my answer.
He's holding up a picture of Metal Slug for those that can't see the video. Dear God, dude, you spent 20 minutes on that nonsense.
Thank you very much, Apple Man. You saved the day.
Fuck.
Good man.
So Metal Slug is our second in place contender.
Jesus.
So yeah, what did you decide?
I've decided that I have a new co-host and it's Kelly.
I thought it was Apple Man.
No.
Oh, what? So what did you choose?
I chose to fire you.
Okay.
Lister, do you want to tell him?
Yeah, I want to tell him that we actually went with Phantom R.
Oh, good.
Yes, that's correct.
While I was
Phantom
gone,
R
I was actually
all the
thinking
way.
that I would choose Phantom R.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure you did. Anyways, so Chell and Metal Slug have been the winners from our Kellyjelly special Battle Royale of the Ages. Maybe we'll do another one like this the next time I get 4 characters from Kellyjelly put on the wiki that aren't already in Smash, because that's why, obviously, I didn't do it with Byleth, because Byleth was already there, so I kind of couldn't do that. But, yeah, that's how it worked out. This was, I was worried we were going to be under an hour for a little bit there, but it worked out.
I would say so, yeah. That was quite the episode. It was a difficult decision. I would be quite happy with Travis in Smash as well, and Phantom R for that matter. I think at the end of the day, Smasher Dashes aren't quite made just for analytical purposes and saying how would this work in Smash as opposed to other characters, although that can certainly be a
Argument.
something that you use, a talking point, an argument point. But mostly it's just what do you want most?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want most? So at the end of the day, I just want Metal Slug a little more, and I think that's just my personal bias just kind of went out, honestly. But Travis is a great character, and I think Kelly put a lot of passion into studying for and developing that moveset, and it's also his most recent one. So pat on the back where that's due, and really check Travis out on the wiki as well as the other characters.
Thanks, guys. I guess it means a lot to say that I guess I shouldn't say peaked early, but I suppose I hit the ground running with Metal Slug, and it only kept going strong from there.
You did, and I wouldn't even say that Metal Slug's moveset is better than Travis's per se. It's purely personal decision on the part of Appleman, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But Travis is again very very good character, and Phantom R. I mean, not to give him the shaft at all either. Very very good character. I know one that you're personally passionate about, which makes me want to go back and play Phantom Thief because I missed out on it the first time around. I was playing Olinda at the time.
That's sort of what I was trying to do with these picks, was one, to kind of get some unique ideas down,
Mm-hmm.
and two, to kind of maybe pick characters that were sort of like fringe characters that, because I was kept worrying what if you both have already done it, then I don't want to waste my time and do the same character. So I was like, I'll try something kind of left field.
I mean, you
absolutely
can.
I've had a lot of fun making them, so hopefully I'd love to make more, because they're always a great experiment in creativity.
So something
you
I'll
have
say
our
about the
open
Smashtopia
invitation to.
Wiki is there is no rule against not uploading a character that's already on there. If it's like we have like we discussed Phoenix Wright, he's on the wiki already. But if you have an idea for your own Phoenix Wright, nothing's stopping you. Fucking go.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Like we have no such rules.
No, I mean Popeye's on the site. Vaxeldon's on the site. So
well, those are fourth party characters that we did.
Yeah, just kind of pushing the envelope as well.
Yeah, but I mean because we've even discussed what if we did our own version of Byleth.
Yeah,
because we don't have, because we have a Sakurai version, our version, your version. Who cares? This wiki is supposed to be where anybody can add things on there. Of course, at the moment, it's just the three of us, and then whatever guests we have on for Smashtopia episode has their names out there too. But
I believe Jake has done one as well.
I don't believe he has.
No, well, he's done some coding on it, I guess.
He was working on some of the info boxes, but I don't believe he's actually put any submissions on the wiki himself.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, it was a pleasure having you again, Kelly, and this was quite a fun episode.
Thank you so much, you guys. I always enjoy being able to chat and analyze and discuss these things with you, and I really like the battle royale format as well. Gave it a lot more expanded it a lot, I think, rather than just one-on-one. So that was a really cool opportunity. So thank you once again.
Of course.
Do you have any teasers for what your next character is going to be?
Teasers. I don't really have one in mind right now. I can tell you a couple rejected ones that I had.
Sure.
Ones that I started and then I kind of stopped. I may have already mentioned them before. One was for Gauntlet Legends, or the Gauntlet series. You know how there's the Valkyrie, the Barbarian, the Archer, and the Wizard. Your wizard is about to die. I thought about picking one of those characters, but being such a weird series where there's no real focus on just a single main character, I kind of didn't get far with that one.
Right.
And the other one was from a game, I think it was a Sega game called Fighting Vipers.
Nice.
And one of the characters who was also featured in I think Project Cross Zone, one of those games, His name's Bahn, Bahn, and he's kind of like this cool dude with this hat that's kind of pulled down over his eyes. He almost looks like, I think, Jotaro from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Nice.
I thought about using him as a idea, but then I didn't really get far with him either.
Very cool.
Oh, that guy! Okay, yeah. I've played Project Cross Zone. So I was like,
Right.
which character is this? But okay, yeah.
He's a pretty cool guy. Cool dude.
Yeah.
So I'm not familiar with Fighting Vipers, but Jonno and I, like, in our own Discord talks that we have discussed the merits of the warrior from Gauntlet. I do agree it's kind of hard to do one that tried to encompass all 4 characters at once would be difficult, unless, like, loading times are crazy and you could literally swap character model on the fly using different special moves, which is in its own self a complicated obstacle. But I would love to have some Gauntlet representation in Smash.
It's a legacy series. Yeah. Because isn't the warrior like the default, like the first character you see on the character selection screen?
I think so. At least I think he was in the original game. The future Gauntlet titles, they've added in extra characters. They've added in real story and modes and shit.
Yeah.
There's Minotaurs. The yellow wizard in one of them looks like a pharaoh, or at least has like a pharaoh outfit. I like that. That one was fun.
Because that series has a fair amount of like meme and stuff.
Yeah. I'm working on a character as well, to the side of all this Smashtopia stuff, that you'll probably be fairly excited about. He made his debut on this episode, actually.
Oh. Porky?
Yeah, Appleman.
Oh.
Yeah, Appleman is played by David Harbour.
Cool.
Be a good time. The next great hit in gaming.
I thought you meant like Apple.
Yeah.
Apple Kid from Earthbound.
Oh yeah.
Which is funny you mentioned, because in the Porky episode, we determined that Apple Kid, he would have an ult based off of Apple Kid.
Very true.
Neat. Yeah, that would work.
I think the next big step for Mother in Smash proper is probably Bubble Monkey. Just playable with Nessa Lucas.
I think it's Porky, but alright.
Oh yeah.
It's Porky
the telephone.
and then
That's his
Nintendo.
father.
Let's get all 3 of the psychic boys in there. Come on.
Tessie.
Oh yeah. I concur. And then we can talk about Teddy later. Nonetheless, kind of diverging here. It's entertaining though. Kelly, any closing thoughts? There you have it, folks. Just kidding.
Yeah. Radio silence.
Just kidding.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next, both in Smashtopia and in real Smash Bros. To see what character makes the next cut.
Agreed, and I'm looking forward to doing this again with you as well, both for another Smasher Dash. I mean, hell, give us a few more characters, and we'll do this again one day.
Oh yeah.
But on top of that too, I mean, we've had you on for 2 Smasher Dashes so far. Maybe one day we'll have you on for a Smashtopia kind of workshop episode, or an on-topic or something, and kind of vary it up a little bit.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, we look forward to it too. You're always a conscientious and great guest to have on, and we appreciate having you, and we appreciate all that you've done for the podcast with composing the excellent theme, for being here to record this episode, of course, and the previous, and for all of your work on Smashtopia.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks so much. I look forward to seeing where it goes from here.
Of course.
And before we let you go, we're just going to close out the show and give the people what they want with the next episode announcement, which is, listener,
when our next on topic, and I'm trying to see if I don't have one near me, so I can't unfortunately bring that out. But for our next one, we're going to be discussing a topic that we actually discussed once before in the episode that was cut because, it wasn't great, and then they also announced that ARMS was happening, so we had a better on topic we could film at the time. We're talking about amiibos and their use in Smash and other general Nintendo games. We're bringing on another recurring guest, and it's going to be a good time, I feel like. There's a lot of amiibos that are out there right now, and I think we'd like to see some more that get created besides just Smash Brothers ones. Hey, maybe we could get a Metal Slug amiibo.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Or a real-life beam katana to shake.
Anything is possible.
Or a real-life tiger to turn into.
Ooh, that would cost a lot. It'd be worth it.
It would. It would. I think I would call my tiger alias Sherry.
What's the tiger from The Hangover named?
You assume I watched that movie.
Tough
That
tough
is
question.
outside of my humor.
Was that Ezekiel?
It was a long time ago.
I have no clue.
Joe Exotic.
Nope. Refuse. Absolutely.
Hey, all
refuse.
you
That
cool
is
cats and kittens.
trash.
Oh boy. Welcome to the United States where we obsess over that show.
More honesty.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, you want to know what my tiger is called? It's called Let's End the Episode. So, with all that, we will see
Quite a
you
name.
all at another time, another place, another reality. Hopefully, not my reality, because I like to keep it private. But
The
that's all for
golems.
today. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks again, guys. Have a safe night. Looking forward to next
You
time.
too.
I don't want to.